Hey, welcome. It's 2 p.m. with the Trigger back on Monday. It's a beautiful day here. Hopefully, your day is going well. Whatever time zone you're in, we're streaming again on multiple channels every day live, 2 p.m. We go live to give you information, insights, conversation on best help you grow your brand and build that media empire. And why we do that, we help you shine on camera, shine on stage, elevate you and your brand authority each and every day. And if you're just waking up, you may not have heard the news that Twitter is no longer Twitter. Yes, we're going to talk about the demise of Twitter. It's not really the demise of Twitter. It could be the demise of Twitter, but Twitter as we know it is not there. Jan is with us again today. They got thunderstorms going on in their neck of the woods. They got sunshine in Washington, D.C. Jan, did you know that Twitter is now called X? Yeah, not making this up. Elon Musk has decided to rebrand Twitter. And we're going to enlarge this conversation a little bit bigger than just beyond this. But you got to think about this, that Twitter is now changing rapidly. Since taking it over, they have gone to a more subscription base. They've added layers into Twitter. I'm very interested in what your thoughts or comments in the chat today are on what's going on with Twitter. Do you like it? Have you moved on to other platforms? Because now we have the launch of Threads by Facebook, which is now called Meta. If you're getting confused, raise up your hand and let me know. Because social media is changing. My mind is wondering, is social media dying? Or are we going through a facelift? That's right. Here we go. Jan's asking, Twitter isn't Twitter? What? It's called X? Yes, it's called X. So instead of sending out tweets now, we are going to be sending out X's. There's so many ways that could come off as a great comedy act right there to talk about the notes to my exes that I'm sending. But we're not going to go there. It is an interesting time that we live in, with social media growing and growing and growing, with Facebook changing its identity with more Meta, and Meta has hit a big pushback. A lot of people do not like the platform of Meta, the reshaping of it, the way the messaging system is, a new dashboard. I, for one, am not thrilled with the changes of Facebook. It has not worked for me. I'm a pretty smart cookie. I use social media every single day, but it's not happening for me. So I'm wondering what it's doing for you with these changes on these platforms. And I see subscription base for Twitter. Yes, they are offering new ways to do this. And one of the things that's causing a problem is their sponsors, their commercial space is dropping. Their advertising has dropped almost 50%. They are 50% down from normal on Twitter. So they are bleeding out financially since Elon Musk took over. They're changing the name to X. And if you know anything about Elon Musk, he has a big thing about X. SpaceX, he has with the Tesla cars, so X is in there. And he even has it. Now, Twitter is actually called X Corp. I'm not making that stuff. X Corp. They renamed the Twitter corporate brand back in October. So the X is a big thing. Why is it a big thing, do you think? Here's what they are putting out from their CEO, Linda Yaccarona. And if I'm saying that wrong, sorry, Linda. But she says this: X would become a global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities. Twitter's business name has been X Corp since October. So that's just reinforcing it. And their sales are down 59% while they're making these changes. And a lot of people are trying Threads out because Threads basically is a ripoff of Twitter, designed by a former employee of Twitter, or so the reports say. It's really interesting now that this is all getting mixed up, but the changes of Twitter. So I'm really curious what your thoughts of. Jan says, I still use Facebook to keep in touch with friends and have an author page. Okay, so there you go. And if you want to go check out our author page, check that out there as well. Facebook has been around and remember, but it's gone through so many changes as well. LinkedIn is going through major changes. Now, they haven't rebranded their name LinkedIn or anything like that, but they now have, oh, here comes another comment quickly. So Apple has the I, Elon has the X. Next, what? There you go. What's next? That's what we're trying to figure out here at Rock the Stage. Talk with a couple colleagues today. Let me put this into another perspective for a moment, because not only do we have the changes with Twitter, we also have the changes with Facebook. Where are we going with social media? How are we going with social media? Well, let's talk Hollywood for a second with my very good friend, Sandra Dee Robinson. Oh, I beamed in magically. Former actress, celebrity, all around great gal, and she works in the media space that I work. Sandra, great to have you beam in, because I'm just turning the corner to talk about a writer's strike, actor's strike. Hollywood now is coming to a screeching halt. What is going on with media?
It's insane, right? I know. And the last that I've heard, and I'm not on the inner circles of this negotiating whatsoever, but it does kind of seem that the union is leaps and bounds away from getting any kind of agreement. So we may be in this situation for a while.
And with that, every time we've had a shakeup or something has happened within the greater media realm, something else has inserted itself.
It's a very good point. Yeah, there's an opportunity where there's nature abhors a vacuum, right? So in a way, there is a virtual vacuum right now. So it's a great opportunity. Like, you help people to create their media empires. This might be the perfect opportunity for that.
I think this is going to be one of those opportunities because, again, for those that know TV too well, Robert Murdoch was the guy that founded Fox TV. Fox didn't exist. He's an Australian. He has his own media empire. That's what he called it. He had his own media empire. And then October 9th of 1986, he launched Fox. But he did it by buying a not too strong of a company out there. And then the early 80s, Murdoch acquired this company called Metrodome Media. No one knows that. Rebranded it to be Fox, rebranding. Yeah. And then he went after the NFL and got the NFL package, which took Fox to a whole new level than original content. Do you think we're going to see this again during this strike gap? Are we going to see new media, new empires pop up?
There's definitely, don't you think that there's a lot of people out there listening right now going, oh my gosh, do we need another source, right? I mean, it's so confusing as it is. Like, we sit down to dinner and Alan says, what do you want to watch? I'm like, I don't know. There's 2,000 channels and things we can choose from. Do we actually need something else? But, we have our favorites, right? I mean, most people have their favorites, whether it's a streaming, whether they go to Netflix or whether they go to ABC, CBS, or NBC, we have our favorites that we go to all the time. And so to create something like that, I think it's the perfect opportunity to create a space where people go to. And really, I think it's an opportunity to be able to create the kind of thing that you don't have to go. How do I put this? If you were to go to Netflix right now and say, here's my content, it has to run through all of their
filters, their producers,
their judgments and all of their stuff, and they'll modify it to whatever they want in order to fit their platform. This is a great opportunity to create your own stuff and not have to run it through anything or compromise necessarily on anything. So it could be pretty cool.
Well, and there's been a lot of writing, the conversation, the breakup of the big three, well, the big four. Big studios, as we knew them in Hollywood, are shifting rapidly. We're going out of country for productions. The landscape is moving so fast and is going to a more independent, free media world, isn't it?
Even the bigger production houses are actually working kind of side by side with the indie to make it at least seem like it's an indie film, that it could be. But they're not putting all of their money into it, but they are working alongside indie film companies. And so it's had that flavor, I think, for a while. And, when we moved to Texas in 2014, we were, I don't want to say one of the first, but we were the first wave, I think, to exit the Hollywood as a place to be
Yeah.
And it was because my husband was still working very actively, but they were flying him in. They would fly him in from wherever he was. So, he could be living as some people did. They moved to Boise, Idaho. They moved to these places that they just wanted to live with their family and have a real life. And they were flying in for production because production was not in LA. Production was in every state but that. And a lot of it is in Atlanta. I mean, at any given moment, I
Oh
understand.
yeah. Atlanta, Georgia area, Vancouver area.
Huge.
It's everywhere now. It's not in LA.
Even my hometown, Rich, this is funny because part of my story is that people were like, how did you become an actress? I said, it's kind of a weird thing because at that point where I grew up, we didn't know anybody even sang in the church choir, let alone like was actually on camera. If you were a news anchor, the news anchor moved into the neighborhood. It was like, oh, a celebrity, like huge. Now, when we went to empty out my mom's house, every one of her neighbors on the immediate sides worked in film one way or another. That's Pittsburgh. I mean, that's crazy how things are changing, right?
Yes.
I mean, there was a set designer, there was a driver, there was a guy that had cranes that he would, rent out to the film companies, but every single one of them around my mother was working in the film industry.
And it's growing and changing, and independent operators are popping up. Jan has a comment here, and again, Jan, you're tracking right with my thought here. Podcasting, books, author space, it's all going to grow now. I think we are in a space where independent people have the chance to shine brighter. I think we have a chance to show podcasting is what radio used to be. Now, podcasting is growing so fast. People are not on regular local radio. For those that don't know, I was in the industry for 30 years. When they went to voice tracks, one guy, one gal recording for many stations, all the liners, we'll be right back after this weather report, and a different voice comes on for the weather report. It killed the radio industry for local radio talent.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are again. Podcasting now is the most rapid growing media.
That and Twitter is where a lot of people get their news, by the way,
Yes.
Believe it or not. So if somebody wants to know what's going on or somebody gives an interesting piece of information, it's not unusual for somebody around me anyway to go, where'd you get that? Oh, I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. He has so much on, and that's where we get our information. And Twitter is the same thing. I mean, I don't post on Twitter so much anymore. I've been on a little bit more since Elon has taken over. Because I left it because I thought it was just such an angry platform. It brought me down so greatly for the last election that I was like, I don't even want to be a part of this. So I kind of left it actively back then. But it's interesting. I still pop on just to see what the headlines are, what's trending, what's happening, what are people talking about, So that's where we tend to get a lot of our news. It's no longer like the standard back in like the 70s and the 80s, which was the ABC news, right? News you can trust. Well, that kind of went.
Well, right. And you and I both know people sitting in the news desk now have their phone by them off camera to Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
But
just tweet it and they'll announce it. It's like, well, what do we need you for?
Breaking news from Twitter.
What do I have to talk to you at the news desk for? I can do the same thing, right? I know.
And that's why it's changed, but the subscription base, the revenue is dropping off 59% down for revenue for Twitter.
Yeah.
So what is happening with media? What is the opportunity for media is the flip side of the question. I do want to share this. Reality TV came along during one of these gap times. Things were not going well for Hollywood. Mark Burnett is the king of reality TV.
90s, right?
Yeah. 90s, early 2000s is when reality, and a couple things, because I went out researching this. Desire for authenticity was one of the driving factors. Where are we at right now? What's one of the biggest driving conversations? We want authentic.
Yeah.
Low cost production was one of the other big factors. What are we talking about right now? Low cost, easy production with your own podcast, your own streaming shows. Popularity of docudramas. We all like hearing our own personal stories.
Oh. Just last night, I was on with a bunch of people. One person says, "Oh, I was watching this docudrama," and tells about how much she liked it. And the next thing you know, there's 30 people on this call, and half of them start chiming in their favorite docudramas, and they're all different.
It sounds like a very familiar time.
Yeah, yeah.
And we are now the independent media operators. We're now the media creators. Again, do we need the big networks? They're already seeing it's crumbling. The Hollywood studios are going overseas, even with social media. And your comment when you first came in, how many are too many?
Right. It's true. Yeah. But I think that because there is so much that's on hold though, that's actually what makes this so good. Like as a member, people may not know this, but with the actors strike at least, right?
Yes.
So as a member of SAG-AFTRA, I am not allowed to be doing this.
We're rebels at Rock the Stage.
I know, but not allowed to sign autographs at an autograph signing. Not allowed to go to like a Hollywood conference or a Comic-Con or a horror con or anything like that to represent your. If you have a movie that you're about to be interviewed on in the Tonight Show, not allowed to go. Of course, Tonight Show is not running because of the writer's strike.
Right.
But if it was, the opportunity to get on a podcast and talk about your movie, even if you are the producer of that movie, you're an actor in it. You're not allowed to do that. So hands are tied. It's hurting a lot of people for sure, but
Yes.
I don't see it actually being wrapped up anytime soon. And I also don't see a lot of the actors abiding by all those rules. I mean, they're going to be signing autographs. They're going to be, I would think they're going to be doing that kind of thing. It would be very hard to say no to that.
So with all that said, what you get is a great insight that you need to understand as the shakeup of social media goes on, the shakeup in Hollywood, there's do's and don'ts, restraints. And after a while, you're going to say, forget it.
Enough.
One of the driving forces of reality TT, of the Fox launch, UPN when it first launched, was entrepreneurial spirit. It was saturated through all of it. We talk to entrepreneurs every day. You and I both, Sandra. We talk to entrepreneurs every day. If I had the money, I would be chomping at the bit right now to make Rock the Stage go massively big. The entrepreneurial spirit with the gap is a perfect time for someone to jump in.
Do you think that, is there anybody, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Is there anybody that is doing this or that launched into something like this and it's now taking off because of the situation? I think I have one in mind. I'm asking if you think of anyone.
I don't know of anyone per se that's, I think, going that direction. I think there's people like me and you that have had conversation with people and said, if. I don't know if there's another person yet ready to go like a Mark Burnett was.
Well, would something like, and correct me if I'm off on this, right? Yeah. But because it's already established, but the Magnolia Network, Chip and Joanna Gaines. So what they've done is entrepreneur, real, down to earth, serving their audience in particular. I mean, it's very niched, right? Yep. And every show that they have on there celebrates an entrepreneur. Well, does it not cross all of the things that you just said?
One of the other interesting things that we're experiencing is through podcasting and streaming shows like this, we don't have any censors. There is no FCC regulation. Is that show under some of the other guidelines that we are not?
It could be. Yeah, I think it could be. And that depends on what the distributor, I guess, right? Like if you're part of DirecTV, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that gets into the sticky stuff. I don't know how that works.
And so I've been saying this for months, and you've been around the table and I've said it. This is free range right now. There is nothing constricting.
The Wild West.
Be creative as all get out. There's no constraints yet.
Yeah.
Now is the moment for someone to go big.
Yeah. Aaron, what is Aaron saying? Don't worry about all the others out there. Just be the best there is out there. Well, like you, Aaron.
That's right.
Yeah. Hi, Aaron. Good to see you.
So, food for thought today. We may not solve anything here today, but this is food for thought because this is the biggest buzz in media besides the writer's strike right now. Yeah. What Elon Musk has done since taking over, changing the company name to X Corp, now changing the platform to be more of a subscription base, now changing the name to X. What's next? And we have threads popping up. There are changes in the social media world that we know.
So fast. And even, hang on, you even mentioned something to me earlier when we chatted early this morning real quick. You said something about HBO Max bringing in some new shows, right? That is these family shows. And I started laughing, which prompted me to explain why I was laughing. It's because I remember HBO Max being the really racy, the don't ever have this on if anybody comes over kind of show, It's like,
Yes.
this is not the channel that you want to accidentally have on your TV if company comes, because it was so racy. And now all of a sudden, like, I'm hearing HBO Max's family programming. So everything is being turned upside down and around.
Yes, because HBO, most of CW went through a shakeup earlier this year. CW stripped out all their superheroes and mainline content, went over to HBO Plus.
Yeah.
So they now have a whole package completely different. And the CW is reshaping itself. So it's happening everywhere right now. And the question is, where are we heading? And now everything is on strike. Everything is in a gap. Everything is
Vacuum.
on pause.
Yeah.
Huge vacuum.
Yeah. I like what Aaron said. Follow Rich and learn to rock the stage and shine. We need to outshine the competition. That's so true. But no, honestly, it is true, right? I mean, for both what you and I do, if somebody's going, hey, this is a great opportunity for me to even just go far as like launch your own podcast, do your own stuff, get eyeballs on you, because there's only so many so many times that we can watch reruns of this or that, right? Because we're really getting into a lot of the rerun season, and it because of the strikes.
Yeah, right now they've already said the fall season is not going to happen.
Yeah, no,
it's off the shelf.
But to come and do your own show and be able to really feel awesome about it, and then this is the perfect time, not only launch, but to make sure you're ready to launch. Like, let's just take it step at a time, right?
I mean, every day I'm here at 2 p.m. It is a mini show.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday night, rock the stage. I'm intentionally carving out a habit. I'm developing a habit for those of you, those that listen. That's what producers of content do. You create a habit.
Yeah.
Everyone today, every one of you listening today has a chance to start carving out your path to build your media empire. And again, either one of us are happy to help you. If you don't know what you're doing and want to do it, we will help you build your media empire. It's that simple.
For sure. I'm looking at the never tweeted or been tweeted. Well, I would tweet you, Jen, just so you could be, but I'm not sure that we call it tweeting now because it's called X.
It's called Xing. You're going to be sending X's all
Is it really? The platform formerly known as Twitter is now going to be Xing. Is that it?
Yes.
You're Xing?
Yes, that's already
wrong. There's something like subliminally wrong about Xing someone. You know what I mean?
Yep. Hey, did you get X today?
I know.
How many X's did you get? I mean, this is not going to be good.
Doesn't sound, but then again, we didn't think tweet sounded very good when it first started either. Remember? We just got used to it.
No, we did not. So the social media world is turned upside down. The regular media world is turned upside down. There's a major gap. And this gap will stick for a while. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a dreamer, if you have the opportunity to step into this gap, I encourage you to step big, step bold, and go for it. These type of opportunities do not come along very often. Find your authentic superpower, Aaron said. Look at this. And put your energy, and you'll rise. Yes. Keep it real, keep it authentic. Send me emails, send me comments, send me questions. If you want to have a deeper conversation on this, go to rockthestagemedia.com, of course, or rich@richbontrager.net. Or Sandra, we can make this really easy. Do you know how easy we can make it for people to connect? They can book a one-on-one consult. There it is. Hit the QR code, and let's talk about your media empire. Let's talk about what you want to do, how you're going to do it, what you've already got in place. What would you do if someone called you up and said, I'm going to bankroll you and you're going to be the new...
I know what I would do.
What's that?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're asking me, you know what I would do. I have two shows in my mind, 3 actually, because one we talked about possibly.
Which is going to happen.
Yeah. And that's awesome. And the other, I've actually been approached multiple times for the horse work that I do, with people that wanted to do it as a reality show. And I kind of shied away because what happens when you're on a reality show, you don't have control of that. So I actually advise a lot of my clients to not take those opportunities to be on a show. I caught one just in time. They had actually shot some stuff of hers and they started to play it back and they had edited it to make her look like the crazy one.
Oh,
because that's what reality shows do, right? They want the drama, they want all of that extra stuff. So they'll tweak things and it's not always in your best interest. So I've actually told a lot of people to don't go there. So I had the same feeling when I was approached too. It's like, I wanted to be in control of that. So, I mean, that's an opportunity, right? You're a coach and you're working with people. You can actually be in control of that content and can kind of create your own thing. And the other thing I'd want to do is a talk show, really getting, like I do with, like we did, you helped me with the interview series earlier this year. We're going to do it again before the end of the year, but just bringing in brilliant minds and just having a really awesome conversation, really authentic, awesome conversation. Like, target whoever it is that you want to target. If you're really thinking that this could be possible for you, this is the time. I think you're right.
I think this is one of those open doors. If you wanted to do it, if you're already a content creator, you can take it to a higher level. But like Sandra said, there's so many ways you can go. But take a page off of what happened the last couple of times. Authentic, real, the unscripted nature, the one-on-one conversations. There's so many ways to take it. And the other takeaway that Sandra just said, don't give up the rights to your own material. You are your own producer, your own creator, your own owner of your content. Right now, as we stream live, I own and protect all of this myself. It's my content and my goods. Sandra does the same thing. I think we have a new media landscape coming. I really do.
I think it's super exciting. It's real exciting. Yeah, and very important. I'm so glad that you reiterate that. Keep control of your content.
So that's going to do it for our 2 p.m. live here today. Bonus time. We got Sandra in today.
Thanks for having me.
Always good to have Sandra Dee drop in. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. live. By the way, we're going to go back to Tuesday and Thursday. Remember, this is the final week of freedom from the fear of public speaking. And tomorrow, Jeff Kozutek is going to be with us at 2 p.m. live. You don't want to miss it. Until then, that's Sandra Dee Robinson on the Trigger Rich Bontrager. We'll see you next time on 2 p.m. live.